Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Mace. We're going to be looking at more stories of disrespectful, arrogant, entitled American tourists abroad. Let's get into it. Hope you all are doing amazing. Make sure to share a comment down below, share a story, share a tidbit, anecdote, whatever you like. I'd love to hear from you guys. Let's get into it. What is the most disrespectful or dumb thing an American tourist has ever done in your country? Mexican here. I saw some Americans complaining about how shit Mexico was. I got curious and heard the rest of the conversation. Basically, they said that they didn't like any of the things in the hotel. They said that the food was shit and they only played bad music and started attacking the whole country. Now, the fun thing is that the only Mexican stuff in that place were the effing employees. It was all American food, American music, American people, and the menu wasn't even in pesos. It was in dollars. I seriously couldn't believe they didn't realize they didn't experience Mexico at all. They were basically in a mini USA, especially designed for tourists. These people didn't realize that they were talking shit about their own country and culture, but replicated in another country by their own people. Yeah, a reply to that story is they sound like the kind of people who think Taco Bell is authentic. I think that is a hilarious story because, yeah, the tourists are basically just in a little mini tourist USA event center, right? Where it's all catered to Americans. This is the all-inclusive package resort type of deal where you're just in like a basically, it's essentially just a gated community, right? With everything's paid for, you're doted on. There's no difference to just being in the ship from Wall-E, right? These are the type of Americans. And that being said, there's nothing wrong with going to one of these places. I've never gone to like an all-inclusive restaurant, or sorry, all-inclusive vacation. I've never been on one, but I wouldn't be necessarily 100% against it. As long as you have a humility, people should be able to obviously do whatever they want. But these Americans were complaining about everything. And the irony is that the complaints were not about Mexico, and they were not about a foreign country. They were not about anything related to being a tourist. Like, they're complaining about American things is the thing. So typical. Makes me think of a George Carlin, innumerable George Carlin skits, right? Like, America is a giant fucking shopping mall. Parking lots. Everywhere parking lots. So people can go to stores and they can buy more shit. So they can fill their shitty houses with more shit. Something like that. Go watch some George Carlin. That is my plea to you for today. He was such a voice of rational thought. We could really use his mind right now. It's too bad that he's passed away. Rest in peace to George Carlin. All right, next one. I live in Sweden, and my family invited a group of American students to stay with us to observe our culture over the summer. One of them returned our hospitality by drunkenly pissing all over our sacred ancestral tree. They have a sacred ancestral tree? I wonder, where is this in Sweden? I don't know a ton about Swedish culture, but I didn't know that they had sacred ancestral trees. That's a big no-no. Yeah, I would think so. And we had to punish him for it. How did they punish him for it, though? I want to hear more about this. What's happening in this one? Another student was invited to look at our holy book, since he seemed very interested in it, but we very clearly told him not to record it in any way, as we consider that sacrilege. Well, he had the audacity to sneak out at night to take pictures of our holy book, much to our dismay. Fortunately, we caught him in the act, and we punished him accordingly. Safe to say that they are no longer welcome here. I heard that midsummer celebration was wonderful. By the way, the correct form of punishment would be to give them nothing but surströmming to eat during the time they were there. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but surströmming is a fermented fish product, which, when you open up a can of it, apparently it's just incredibly pungent. But I think, yeah, you just like sprinkle a little salt on it and eat it right out of the can. Apparently it is, yeah, one of the most striking and pungent smells in the world. I am curious if this is like a satirical comment or a real comment. How did they punish these Americans? The dude drunkenly pissing all over their sacred tree. Like, it's the returning their hospitality by being drunk and pissing. Just being obnoxious and inconsiderate and just entitled. Yeah, that's frat boy behavior. This does remind me of the... Now that they mentioned, I heard that Midsummer Celebration was wonderful. That's a great horror movie if you've never seen it. Midsummer. All right, next one. My mom and I were downtown when American tourists came up to me and asked where a certain restaurant was. I didn't know, so I asked my mom in French if she knew where the restaurant was. The American got mad and told me to speak English. He couldn't understand what I'd asked. I said I'd asked my mother where the restaurant is because I didn't know. He then says, "Why didn't you ask her in English? I thought Canadians spoke English." Then my mom saw him yelling at me and said in French, "Is something wrong here?" The American just threw his hands up and walked off, saying something about how he thought they spoke English here. For reference, we were in Quebec City. Don't know if he ever found the restaurant. So, very typical American ignorance, not knowing the local culture or customs and being insufferable when things are different or there's things that they don't know, and also just being very demanding and entitled. So, checks all the boxes of the most insufferable Americans I think that we've all encountered. All right. I was asked if I liked ABBA in an accent akin to death in Bill and Ted, and made fun of me for being one of the few average-looking Swedes. I mean, I'd say compared to how above-average weight people look in other countries, I'm not bad. But I'm in a country of gods and goddesses. I mean, why do you think Chris Hemsworth was cast to play a Norse god? He looks like what a stereotypical Swede is described as in fiction. I wasn't super aware of this stereotype of Swedes being like very, very beautiful people. I have Icelandic heritage. I'm kind of Icelandic, English, Scottish, German, mixture of those things. I want to go to Iceland eventually. I hope. Not really disrespectful, just dumb. At the Eden Project, 2 American women were angrily complaining to staff that the typical biome wasn't air-conditioned. Biome? I'm thinking of Biodome. You see that Pauly Shore movie? The Eden Project. What is this place? Oh, okay. Some sort of biodomes, obviously. Hopefully I just didn't get a virus on the old computer. Next one here. I'm Mexican. So while visiting family down in Mexico, note, not a heavily tourist area, they ask some servers in a restaurant if they can get someone who speaks American to take their order. Well, they might be able to do that if American was a language, but American is not a language. I think the word that they are looking for is English. You'd think with Google Translate it'd be common sense. You'd think, but nah, they felt privileged. The fact that they didn't say English is not helping them look any brighter either. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Said he is afraid to walk around our capital because he thinks he will get attacked by rats. What? You must be French. I apologize, but that Ratatouille movie freaked out a lot of us Americans. I'm actually Romanian. Attacked by rats. I need to know more. Never heard of Romania having a rat problem. I had to look on Google and found nothing about them. I figured it would be mostly vampire references you would get there. Okay, moving on. American here, who went with a small group through Russia, Siberia, Mongolia, and China. One lady with us bitched about absolutely everything. She complained about the food, the weather, the hotels, the trains, the airport, the places of interest, etc. Especially the food. Look, lady, you're a guest in these countries. Act like one. And she claimed to be an experienced world traveler. I think he very succinctly put it. You're a guest in these countries. Act like one. Have some humility. Right? Something Americans really do seem to lack. But if you're in a foreign country, you're a guest there. When in Rome, and treat people kindly. Have patience. Have some kindness. It's really not a big ask to be respectful as a person. So we really do need to shame and shame these social media stars when we can, and call out shitty behavior in our own communities. Scotland, littering the shite out of everything, driving on country lanes in a big F-off camper vans, and they have zero rural experience, causing mayhem. Calling it England. I've been asked about the ferry to Canada. That'd be a long ferry ride. Oh, and abusing diplomatic immunity after hit and runs. I wonder what that one's referring to. Obviously, a diplomat ran over somebody in Scotland. That's horrible, especially if they didn't face any consequences for it. Littering also really pisses me off. When I'm out in nature and if I see litter on the ground, that boils my blood. I tell you what. It's my little Canadian heart. It's just my little Canadian self. Go pick up the trash and take it out of there. Yeah, littering in nature, those people should be, I'm not going to say what I think should happen to them. You know, the people that they go out into a beautiful spot in nature, they have a fire, which is fine. The fire is not the bad part here. But they have a 12-pack of beer. They have chip bags. And they just throw everything around, right? You go down there and it's a freaking mess. No respect for nature. And there's plenty of Canadians that do this either. This is not just unique to Americans. And it pisses the bloody hell out of me. I wish I could grab whoever did it, grab him by headlock and just give him a good old noogie. Thinking it was a good idea to step here and expect English. It was about 7 months ago. A whole bunch of dumb gringos attacked our Capitol building. He's talking about January 6th. And tried to disrupt the certification of our presidential election. Some of them even claimed that they were simply tourists who got lost. You're right. They were all tourists. I don't think anyone from the DMV would be that stupid, although I know some people who went down to hear Trump speak, they didn't go to the Capitol. So that person's talking about the January 6th craziness in Trump trying to coerce Pence, basically, to do his bidding and go against everything that stands for a democratic society. Good stuff. All right. There are multiple international Arby's locations, which means that an American traveled there to help create at least one of them. So, that guy. I will confess, I have never, pretty sure, yep, never had Arby's. What do you get at Arby's? Is it hamburgers or fast food? Try to avoid it. All right. This happened about 10 years ago. A white American guy got into an argument with a black guy at a bar in Bosnia. Well, that's interesting. White guy proceeds to call him the N-word. A group of locals picked him up by his arms and legs and threw him outside on the street. It was great. Yes. Dude absolutely deserved it. No excuse for that. I live in Brazil, and every celebrity that comes here thinks they can do whatever they want and that we won't say nothing. F you, Drake. I find that one hilarious. So this person apparently had a bad experience with Drake, giving a bad name to Canadians. Shame on you, Drake. Shame on you. We forfeit Drake. He can be an American now. And then somebody else says littering, reinforcing what I just spoke about a few moments ago. So there's a couple stories. Like I said, make sure to comment down below. I want to hear if you guys have any good ones, and we will see you on the next video. Hope you all are doing great. If you have any recommendations as well, leave them in the comments. But it's crazy times right now. It seems like Trump is desperately trying to get the Epstein war. I mean, the Iran war. That's what I meant to say. Of course. Seems like he's desperately trying to wrap that up. Iran is saying, F you. F you. You started this. We're not going to back down. Why would we? In fact, these are our demands. Are you going to meet them? Because Trump, remember, he ripped up Obama's Iran deal in 2018 because, of course, it was signed by Obama or brought by Obama. Can't have that. Can't have that. He's not even an American. He's born in where's he born? I don't know. Trump was big on that conspiracy. If you don't forget that. But yeah, he ripped up the 2018 Iran nuclear deal, which was working. And now he's going to be negotiating a deal. I kid you not. It's likely going to be the same type of deal, like almost identical, if not more concessions. So, dude is an absolute buffoon of the biggest buffoonery ever to be existing in human history. He might actually take the mantle of being the worst human in history. Let me know your guys' thoughts down below. All right. See you soon.